No, 8. Hi guys.
Hi guys. Nick's just said, "Oh, we'll go live. We're at 6 now."
I meant 8. I get confused. I do this on
Not
Tuesday.
the chat.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a notification for ourselves.
Oh, that's nice. We're live.
Right, hi guys, and welcome to our Sunday live hangout.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have many people in today. Everyone's probably watching the concert.
Yeah, the Manchester gig is on in the other room. Ellen's watching that. So yeah,
I'm recording it, so I'll go back and watch it later.
Yeah, absolutely. We might as well start with what happened last night.
Shall we start with hellos first?
Yeah, let's start with hellos.
Let's just say Lucy was in the chat first. So hi, Lucy. And will you take less? I read your comment and I said, your second wife will be pleased.
That's how I read it. Will you take that? Second wife will be pleased. Wow, what a lucky man. Or maybe is that a man? Or is that, let us know. Are you a man or a lady?
Must be, well, okay, no.
Oh no, wife will be pleased.
Yeah, but then I just thought, no, it might be. So you might be a man, you might be a woman.
A woman with a wife?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not gonna be making much sense today because I've had not a whole lot of sleep. Should we do some more hello? Let's do some quick hellos. Then we'll move on to that.
We'll carry on. Chelsea's there. Hi, Chelsea. Dr. Doodle-Doo, Peter Cummings, Tactical Bite. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. You have a go. I'm very bad at pronouncing it.
Cruel Siraj.
Okay, that was good.
That's as good as I can get.
Better than I could have pronounced it.
T.S. Davies. Game Boys are awesome.
That's John.
Oh, blimey, there's loads of people in today. Yeah. Louise, Sue, Azza, CYB, Blitz, Paul, Dr. Doodle-Doo.
You said that.
Lee Michelle. Oh, was that DM?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. Yeah, firstly, there's lots more people in there. We won't say everybody because we'll be here just doing that all night. Welcome aboard. We've already got 87 people in, 88. And yeah, so thanks for that. Thanks for joining us. You may have seen on our Facebook and in that last video, we just asked for a few questions because we've had quite a hectic weekend and we weren't planning on going out sourcing, although I did actually end up going out this morning. So we've taken some questions and we're going to get onto those soon. First off though, you may have also seen in that other video, I ordered a microphone which arrived in a bit of a state. Can you let us know what the sound is like? Because we've got it plugged in, this little bad boy, and we've no idea if it's having any effect, if the sound is good, if it's even picking us up. So before we get going, can you just let us know in the chat if you can hear us and if it's better than it normally is? Because I know our sound is normally pretty shocking.
Oh,
sounds good.
Mackerel said we can call him Fax. So there we go. I have to try and remember that.
Fax?
Yeah.
Why does it say that?
Yeah. Question.
Oh, cool.
We'll read questions.
You can call me Fax. Oh, yeah. Genuinely, your sound.
In the chat. Gary, I've messaged you. You might not like my message, but I've messaged you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yep, good. I agree. It sounds the same. What is the point in these mics then? Is that better? Is that better?
It doesn't.
I'm not going to sit here like this, like a news presenter.
Hello, hello, 1 2 1 2.
So yeah, who knows? I'll watch it back and see if it's even doing anything. I don't have any joy with tech.
No, the joy of tech.
But if it's not improving the sound, I might as well send it back to the guy anyway. No. Who knows?
Oh, well, never mind.
Anyway, yes, last night we were in London.
Benjamin Lee said it's not using it.
It is. Oh, hang on. Schoolboy error. It may not be.
Yeah, we've not plugged it in.
Oh.
Oh, there we go.
Right. What's that done?
Okay. Does that make any difference? How do we sound?
Steve says, not sure it's working. Doesn't sound much different.
Yeah, there's always a bit of a delay though.
Yeah, someone said when you brought it up to your mouth, it sounded the same. I think I have switched it on now. Much better. Ooh, that's better.
Oh,
tech fail not. I've done
crackling?
It. Dull.
Deeper voice. Oh no.
Yeah, and it's better. That's much better. Oh my, wow, loads of comments.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. It works.
Good.
Switching it on helps.
It does.
Yeah. Excellent. Like I said, my brain is like elsewhere. I feel like I've got.
Zahir's in the chat. Hi, Zahir.
Oh, Zahir's in there. Because let's quickly cover this. Last night, many of you will know we were in London to go and see Depeche Mode. We were over at Stratford at the Olympic Stadium. Who was that who just said they were there in the chat?
Lee Michelle was.
Lee Michelle was there. We met up with another couple of resellers.
Yeah, Gary's in the chat.
Yeah, so great to meet you, Gary, and your wife. And yeah, it was great. The gig itself was great. For me, it wasn't the best gig I'd seen Depeche Mode at, but it was a great gig.
We weren't sure if it was just because we couldn't see much.
Well, we had standing tickets, and we found ourselves behind a man mountain and a family. Yeah, there was literally 7 foot tall. He was head and shoulders above me, and a family who kept putting their little kids on their shoulders, which in a standing arena is just it's just rude.
Someone says I've now got a male voice. Oh God.
Why did you say that? She's going to be paranoid now. Anyway, so we kind of tried moving left and right to get better views, and it felt like they were always just in front of us. And yeah, the stage wasn't particularly high. We've been to gigs like we saw you two at Twickenham, and that was much better from standing, wasn't it? Because the stage was a lot higher. Anyway, the music and the show really was excellent. But
yeah, and Gary said we would have got wet. We did get wet, but at least it only rained for like 2 songs.
Your favourite track comes on.
My favourite one, and
the heavens opened.
And the heavens opened.
Anyway, but then of course you'll all be aware that there was the terrorist attacks in London last night, just absolutely appalling, and we were nowhere near that, so we weren't caught up in it. But there was transport chaos.
We were caught up in the chaos because as soon as something like that happens, it's far-reaching, isn't it? It's just it's the entire London is affected by it.
Yeah, well, a lot of trains were cancelled.
Yeah.
We were trying to get on the Central Line. It took us about an hour to get from the gig onto a platform, and then they tell us.
Then they tell us that the line has been suspended.
Queuing, they've suspended all trains. Yeah. So then we had an hour or so to get to King's Cross for the last train at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we had to get on the Jubilee line and go right the way across London, and then up the Northern Line, then across on the Victoria line.
Yeah, and the worst thing was that, Ellen had seen this had happened, and she was trying to call us while we were still at the gig. And, we had no service in there, either of us. So as soon as we got out, our phones were just going mad. And she'd phoned us and texted us several times, and she was just beside herself. And her friend was there as well with her dad, so she was worried about her friend as well.
So I don't think Ellen understood the geography of where we were and where the attacks were. No, but the thing
is, we had to go back that way to get to King's Cross. So we didn't know. I mean, we were in front of people who were saying, oh, God, there's been 3 attacks in the last hour and it could happen anywhere. And it was chaos, and it was a bit of panic, and nobody knew what was happening, and everybody was kind of guessing and trying to get the news off their phones. So it was that fear of just not knowing if it was, they might hit a train station. I can't speak, but
yeah, it was really unsettling when we were queuing to get into the tube. Everyone was just being texted and looking up news reports and stuff, and at that point they thought there was 2 or 3 or 4 maybe different events.
Nobody realized at that point it was all the same thing that had happened.
So we thought maybe it was a coordinated attack with different events, and there we are in a crowd outside a tube station thinking, oh, this is. And
the fact that they'd shut tube stations down and suspended train lines, we just didn't know what was happening. And then, of course, it was the first time ever that we'd left Ellen on her own. Like, we've left her in the day on her own, but not at night. And the thought of not getting home to her, and, what if something happened to us? Would she be all right? And so
she FaceTimed us, didn't she, at one point, and she was crying and upset. And
what if we missed that last train home? I was all ready just to get in a taxi and pay like £500 to get home. I didn't care. I'd have walked.
At 1 o'clock in the morning from London. Yeah. Oh, anyway, it all worked out fine for us, and clearly our thoughts are with those who had,
just horrendous.
who got caught up in it.
Absolutely
it's
horrendous.
Just shocking. So yeah, we'll leave that there for now. What else? So we've covered the mic. I was just reading, your voice is fine, someone else said.
Yeah, Darren said that
in there. Hopefully the
It's
mic
just being
is picking
nice.
us up okay. Yeah, and we asked you for questions because we're not doing a haul, although we got back at, like, what time did we get back?
2:30.
About 2:30, and then I couldn't relax. I couldn't,
Yeah, because we got home immediately, put the news on because we wanted to know what was actually happening.
I couldn't calm down. You were shattered and just went off to bed.
I made a cup of tea and I just kept falling asleep.
But I stayed up, and by the time it got to 4 in the morning, I figured I might as well just push on through and go to the early boot sales. So I did. I didn't have any sleep at all.
No, it was so weird because I woke up and all the lights were still on. Because I'd gone
in
to
the
sleep
bedroom?
with the light on, and the light in the hall was on. It was a really weird thing. Yeah,
so I did go out this morning. The boot sales weren't great, so I didn't get much of a haul, and it's all still in the car. So I feel like I've got jet lag because I've slept on and off today, but not a lot. Anyway, let's see what we've got going on in the chat before we start.
He's got a new hairstyle, but we missed the live stream earlier, so we haven't seen that yet.
See, oh really? Oh, I had a haircut for the gig.
Yeah, by your marvelous hairdresser.
Okay, should we crack on with these questions because we?
Yes. Do you want to scooch back? Because there might have been a couple of questions before.
Yeah, we can do some from the chat as well.
If we go back right. If we go right back.
Wow, there's a lot of chat in here.
I just saw some questions.
There's a question there.
Yeah, that was Lee.
Oh yeah, that's about Depeche Mode. Okay. Right, so there's one. You can call me Fax. Ah, that's fact. Yeah. Loved the ramp video. Did the microphone work? Oh well, yes. Once I turned it on, as you saw. What was the game with the 2 discs? The game I ordered was Connect Sports 1 and 2, and they sent me Connect Sports 2 and London Olympics. Yeah, go figure. Okay, so if there are any questions, drop them in the chat, but we have some from the last video and one from Facebook. Let me get the Facebook one up and get that one out of the way first. Karen Barnes asked on Facebook, how did you cope with storage for stock when you rented your smaller property before buying your house? And she goes on to say, normally watch the show, but out tomorrow night. My YouTube user is CP Crafts.
Okay. So
thanks for the question, Karen. So you can start. How did we cope with storage when we had our first house?
We didn't. It was everywhere. Every nook and cranny of it. It was very small. So we had it under Ellen's bed, under our bed, piled up against the walls. On shelves.
Yeah, we had a shelving unit in our bedroom that I remember just was everywhere, stacked up by the side. Our living room
looked more like a warehouse than it did an actual living room. It was quite embarrassing to have people round, wasn't it?
Yeah, we used to have people round, not very often at that point, and they'd come in and it'd be like, oh my God. Yeah. And this was when Ellen was just born.
Yeah, so we'd have all of her baby toys in the middle of the room, which is chaos, as you know, when you've got a baby, and then just stock all around the room.
Yeah, so that was the reason, a big reason why we opened the retail unit was to get all of this out of our house. And that worked.
Yeah, it did.
And then the retail business just took off and kept expanding and expanding,
so
and we never looked
then we
back.
Had a basement that we could put stuff in.
Yeah, eventually we moved to a bigger retail unit, massive basement there, which I managed to fill up with stock.
Yeah.
So yeah, we struggled no end with space, and I know a lot of people who do this from home do struggle with space. We thankfully now have this room, which is our old garage, but it feels, and we were saying this earlier, there's another question which we'll touch on a bit later. I get the feeling, certainly the way I am, the more space I have, it just means I buy more stuff and fill it up. I mean, you have an office at the back which is rammed.
Yeah, I know it is. As you might have seen in the last video.
This is rammed. The loft is still rammed.
I try and keep it all on one side because I use the other side mainly for like photography and stuff. So I try to keep that little bit clear. So yeah, I try not to look behind me. It upsets me.
So yeah, in answer to your question, we didn't cope very well with our tiny little 2 up 2 down house.
No, we didn't.
And now we have a bigger house, a lot more space. We're still not coping.
No, we're still filling it up, and the loft. And we do manage to keep it out of the living room for the most part, though. If it goes in there, then it's brief and it gets moved.
Yeah, the living room sometimes is a dumping ground. Do you remember when we had that great big haul last September, October time? We dumped it all in the living room, didn't we? And it was there for a couple of days.
More than a couple of days.
Was it?
Yeah.
No.
It was there for a while.
So yeah.
Yeah. Kay's just asked me where I got my top from. It was Primark. I bought it last year, I think. It's a Harry Potter top. I thought it was quite fitting today.
What does it say? Oh, read it. Happiness.
Says, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. No, I'm reading it backwards. Even in the darkest of times, if only.
If one only remembers
to turn on the light.
I can't read
backwards. Clearly.
Having trouble reading, are we, dear?
Well, we're backwards in our screen.
What are you on today? Ooh.
Nothing. That's your tea from ages ago. It's empty. Could do with a drink now tonight, I tell you.
There's talk of Zahir's hair in here. I'm intrigued now. I need to go and watch this video. Question: is there a limit on how many? This is will you take less? We'll quickly do that one. Is there a limit on how many items one can list before having to open a shop? I hit 550 items today. I think you can have as many as you like.
Yeah.
You don't have to ever open a shop, as far as I know, but there comes an economical point where you actually save money.
It makes sense.
And depending on how frequently you are relisting, you can quite easily work that out by multiplying up what you're being charged to list each item, and then work out with the shop and the discounts and the free listings if you would save any money. So yeah, at 550, it might be worth getting the middle-sized shop, which we have. You'd have to work it out for yourself on the numbers. There's more questions in the chat. We're going to end up just doing chat questions at this rate. What's the oldest item you have on the shelves? The thing you bought first way back and never got round to getting rid of? Oh my God.
Couldn't even tell you.
The stuff not in here, but in the loft. That's going back 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, the sports stuff still up there. Some of it has been sold.
Only the swimwear.
I sold most of the kids' stuff because I put it in the shop.
Yeah, that was the swimwear, wasn't it? Or did we take some more?
There was like accessories. There was hockey stick bags and.
Oh yeah, there was.
There were some tops. And
so we did sell some of that sports gear.
Yeah, most of the kids.
Hockey gloves we had.
Yeah.
As well, I sold all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the stuff at least. Going back 3 years, probably more if I actually rummaged around up there. Yeah. Right, did you have some questions on your phone from the video? Go for it.
Scooch down and see if there's anything else going on in the chat. Right, well, we'll start with, down as in to the end.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I did say that we were coordinated today in colours.
Yeah, we're
it wasn't
purple.
Planned. Right, so this question, it is from RV There Yet. What 2 things would you do differently from the start of your eBay business venture if you knew then what you know now? Forgive my falling back on the most redundant question ever, but truly I am interested in that. Plus, it's a great help for new sellers.
I think we have had this before.
Yeah, we struggled though to answer this actually. I don't know what we would do differently.
With hindsight, I suppose we would not pick up the things that didn't work out.
Yeah, but you don't
and
know
that sort of thing.
You
but
don't know that until you've picked up the things that don't work out. So
it's difficult because if we did things differently, we wouldn't have made the decisions we made that led us to get the shop and set that up, and that was a huge success. Which led on to other things and have brought us to the point we're at now when we're quite comfortable and very happy doing things the way we do things. So I guess it's the same old answer that you wouldn't change things because you would have ended up somewhere different. It might have been better, it might have been worse, we don't know. But yeah, I guess we just made it up as we went along, which is what we still do on a daily basis. and enjoy the journey, really. I mean, we've made loads of mistakes, and that's all part of it, you know. It's like we had the clothing store for 1.5 years, which we closed about 6 months ago, and you could say that was a big error, that was a big mistake, because, you know, we lost money, it didn't work out, but I still wouldn't change that.
No, I wouldn't, because yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best time of our lives, but at the same time it led us, things put you on different paths in your life, and even when something bad happens, it changes you and it puts you on a different path in a different direction, and it in the long run it's a good thing. And that's how I see it.
Going back into retail, I think what it did for me, I don't know if it's the same with you, but it really made me appreciate everything that is positive about how we do things from home. You can easily forget how good we have it, really, and how much we love what we do and all of the benefits that we have working from home. I think both of us wanted to have one last go at retail, and it told us that we're done with it.
We're done with it completely.
And I think that's staying with me more now, that I really need to focus on what I love about what we do and how big the benefits are of working from home.
Yeah, so, and also because even though we've worked together at home before, and we've done just, you know, reselling at home rather than having a shop together, we've done it differently before. So we've learned lessons along the way, and now we're back at home again. We're doing things very differently. Like, we have very separate spaces, and we sort of separate things out a little bit.
Yeah,
we just works.
We work together, but very separately. And we've learned over the years that this creates less. There's still a fair bit of friction. I can walk into Andrew's office and say one thing, and that's it. Oh, it's off. But we've learned to adapt how we do things to, you know, so you've got very clear control over what you do, and I have very clear control and ideas on how I do things, and, you know, that works for us.
It does.
But it's taken us 15 years to get to that point, and it's still not smooth running. You know, working with your spouse, spending 24/7 with your partner, you know, we don't get that go to work and come home and hi, how was your day moment. We are together all the time. It's not easy. So
it's not easy, but at the same time it's nice. There are pros and cons.
There are pros and cons to everything. And I suppose that's what I was saying about the shop. There were advantages of having the shop. It didn't work out, so we pulled out of it. You know, getting that rigid 9 to 5 hours that we had down there was a benefit to us. But anyway, that was a good question in the end, actually.
But I have to say that probably since we left the shop, I'm happier than I've been in a long time, work-wise. I'm happy in what we're doing and how we're doing it, and I feel a bit more focused on it, I suppose.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, good. Whose question was that? That was a good question in the end.
I did read it. RV there yet?
RV there yet? Oh, as in a RV.
Yeah.
What does RV stand?
Like a
recreational vehicle.
Yeah.
It's what Americans call camper vans.
Darren says, how much dad dancing did you do? I don't think you did any, really. Well, there's a little bit of throwing your arms in the air, but
there wasn't a lot of room. We were standing, and the crowd naturally surged quite a bit, and we were packed in like sardines behind this man giant.
Yeah, but the man giant did some great dancing.
He was dancing out of time.
For it. He was all over the place.
Imagine like a basketball player sized person in front of you at a gig doing out of time weird dancing.
Yeah.
It's like,
he was
just
loving it. Absolutely. But then he could see what he was dancing to.
There was lots of arm waving, lots of singing. Well, I was quite close to another guy, sort of shoulder to shoulder here, and I was singing my head off.
Yeah.
And this guy gave me a few glances.
I know, I kept feeling really conscious because there was a woman like literally here. Oh, here comes Monty.
Oh, Monty's just opened the door.
Literally here next to me, and I was pretty much over her shoulder, and I wanted to sing sometimes and wanted to be sort of interactive with it, but then I kept thinking, if I sing, I'm right in her ear, and I can't sing very well, so
I've given up worrying about that sort of stuff.
Not a pleasant experience for her, I'm sure.
You just have to go for it. But Not
Yeah.
much dad dancing,
But
Darren. No.
those that were at the gig, Home was my moment, really. I loved that. It was just, yeah. Actually, I did shed a tear while I'm singing it. I love that song anyway, but it was a moment, that was.
Yeah, and at the end of Home, which is, unless you're a Depeche Mode fan, you wouldn't know the song. The crowd kind of sing the refrain part, and it kept going and going, and it's kind of a traditional thing at DM gigs, and that was quite a moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. Have you got another question on there?
Let's go. Right, this is Jack who says, how would you recommend selling trading cards or stickers, and if in bundles, how many to one bundle?
Wow.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I've not seen that question. To be honest, it all comes down to how much value there is in it. I mean, with trading cards, I mean, ask Vinny about this. He's the expert, really, but I've sold plenty over the year. One trading card could be worth anything from nothing to maybe £100 or more on its own. So obviously, if it's a really valuable one, you're going to list it on its own. I used to do a lot of Magic the Gathering in bundles, and I used to sell them in common cards that weren't worth much. I'd do bundles of 100, which worked out. And also you could split them into 2 piles of 50 and put a little bit of paper around them and still send them as a large letter. So that worked out economical on the postage. And 100 seemed a nice round figure that people could get their heads around, and it was worth your time doing. So yeah, bundles of 100 common cards is how I used to do it a lot. And also then you wouldn't have to necessarily count them. You'd have one bundle strapped up, and you could just stack up a wodge of cards next to it so it was the same height, and then add a few to be sure. So you wouldn't have to count 100 every time. I used to have tens of thousands of Magic commons, which Vinny actually ended up buying off me because I just wanted shot of them. Yeah, but really you just have to do your research if you can and find out the rare and the valuable ones. It's the same with just about every sort of trading cards. Most aren't worth much. The odd few are worth good money. So you have to find that out, really.
Yeah.
Sell the valuable ones on their own and bundle up the rest. But I have, talking of that quickly, I have now tens of thousands of Match Attacks cards, and I think I'm just going to bundle the whole damn lot. I might even put it on auction. I'm sick of looking at them. I've just
bought more the other day.
I bought more. Yeah, when we went boot sailing, I bought a load off my sister. Yeah. Okay.
I just saw another question quickly. It says, why with limited space would you, Nick, have started buying larger items, e.g. power tools? I can answer that. Because there's money in it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't really have the space to put it. No, the thing is with that,
it's a high value item, and you can,
yeah. I wanted, the opportunity came up. In all honesty, the opportunity was there. I met this woman. She had all this stuff. I knew there was money in it, and that opportunity is fleeting. It's there for a minute. If you don't take it, it's gone. So I went for it. And yeah, it wasn't great timing. I just managed to get everything under control in here and tidy the office up, had a clear floor. And then I filled it up with things like skis, you can see here. But yeah, that's one of the things with what we do. It's very opportunist. And when an opportunity comes up, even if it's a big amount of stock and maybe you don't quite have the space for it, sometimes you just have to go with it in that moment and grab it.
And hope that it is a quick flip.
Yeah.
Doesn't sit around for too long.
Yeah, well, the tools I listed, I've got vast majority of that listed. I haven't done the bike yet, haven't done the skis yet, although I thought they would be very out of season, but somebody messaged me and said they sold that short pair I've got, if you've seen the video. Someone sold exactly the same ones for, I think it was £60 like last month. So I guess people do indoor skiing, and somewhere it must be snowing in the world all the time. So yeah, maybe I'll get those listed anyway. Yeah. I've lost my thread. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Right, you got more questions?
Yes. This is Michelle Izzard, and she says, hi, Nick and Andrea. Great videos as always. I would like to ask if you have ever thought of moving house to have more storage. I know you are mortgage free, which is a great situation to be in, but have you ever thought of a house with outbuildings?
Do you want to answer? Oh, come on. Oh, I can. Shall I start?
Well, you start. Sorry, I was lining up the next question, so you start.
Yes, we have thought about that exact scenario, really. We are lucky in that where we are, house prices have gone quite bonkers, and we could sell this up and get a larger property with maybe land and outbuildings, etc. We would have to move away a little bit.
Yeah.
But as I said before, with me, certainly, the more space I have, and I think Tom is a bit like this. I talk to Tom regularly, and he has a buying habit. He won't mind me saying that. And he has, you know, a workshop and sheds and storage containers. And I think I'd be like Tom, if I had those extra buildings, I'd fill them up. So maybe it wouldn't be the best idea.
Yeah. But you see, it runs in your family. Your dad has sheds full of stuff. Your uncle has sheds full of stuff, but they're not. You're trying to get your uncle into reselling, and he's done a bit. But yeah.
Yeah, my Uncle Steve has sheds you can barely walk in because they are just filled. You know, you walk in, it's in your face. It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
But I did get him. I went up there we went up a couple of times, didn't we, in the evenings, and I got him on eBay and set him up selling. But he's more into buying than he is selling.
And your dad just like salvaging things. He finds things and he thinks, oh, that.
Yeah.
You know. You can't throw that away. You can't.
That's my dad's line. Oh, they can't throw that away. Let's fish that out of that skip.
And then it goes in a shed.
Then it goes in one of his sheds, and my mum despairs.
Yeah.
My dad has sheds filled with stuff, and my mum has been for years trying to get the kids like me and my sisters involved in helping him to shift all of this stuff. And it's been ongoing for like 10 years. It's not happening. As quick as we help him get rid of some stuff, or mum helps him get rid of stuff, he gathers more. Yeah. You know, oh, someone was giving away this lawnmower and I couldn't leave it behind.
He used to work for a school. He was a what did he do then?
He was head groundsman of a big private school, and they would continually clear stuff out and throw it away, and he'd bring it all home.
Yeah. Constantly, just they'd throw it away and go, oh no, that's good. No, that'll be useful.
Random gear like computers and desks.
We've all got like chapel chairs, haven't we? Where they threw out a load of perfectly good chapel chairs from the chapel. Yeah. And we've all got them in our house now.
I was saying to Dad, even back then, this is going back like 10, 15 years. I was saying to him, get yourself on eBay, because we were doing this then, obviously. Like with those chapel chairs, they filled up a couple of skips with these little chairs, just a basic wooden chair with on the back a little place to put so when you're sat behind, you can put your prayer books or whatever in.
The hymn books.
And there's a market for this. They were proper vintage. They were probably like 50, 60 years old. And they were being thrown in the skip, and a lot of them were being burnt. And I said to him, just salvage the lot and put them on eBay. But he wasn't that way inclined.
The phone's ringing.
That's the phone. Do you want to go and get it? You go and get the phone. Leave me here. Anyway, yes, my dad and my Uncle Steve, that's his brother, are very much the same. And their dad, my granddad, who sadly has passed now, he was the same. And when Granddad died, we had to clear similar sheds rammed with years and years of stuff he'd accumulated. And I had that same gene, as you can see, but I've kind of twisted it into a way of making money. So yeah, that's my excuse for hoarding anyway. Question, is there anything that you used to buy all the time that you do not touch now? And if so, why? That's Barry Francis. There are many, many things I don't bother picking up now because the market's moved on or there's not as much money in it. Certain toys and games aren't worth touching. I can't even think off the top of my head. There's loads of examples. You've probably seen my hauls evolve over the years anyway, and things that I used to be really into, I'm not anymore. Certain books that I don't touch anymore because there's no money in it. But the market continually changes anyway, and you have to adapt. I don't know how long Andrea's going to be. Here she comes. You done?
Yeah, it was your mum.
Oh, it's my mum. Okay. Yeah. She all right?
Yeah, Monty.
Was she asking about how we were in
she's
London
just got home and seen the news and
okay.
You know, thought, oh, I'll give you a call.
All right, I will ring her later. Our niece Emma works in London. She's a nurse as well, but apparently she wasn't involved in treating anyone, and luckily wasn't anywhere near the scene. Right, I just did a quick question while you're away.
Okay, what did you do?
And one about, are there anything that we don't buy anymore that we used to buy?
Oh,
I said there's loads of stuff. It continually moves on.
Yeah,
There's probably loads of clothes that you don't pick up now that you used to.
Yeah, definitely. I'm continuously learning, and there'll probably still be things I'm picking up now that in the future I think, I don't know why I picked that up.
Yeah, but the market changes anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And definitely in fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why we picked up things before, because they were selling, but then suddenly the market's, you know, different, and people don't want those sort of things anymore. And
that's what I was saying.
There's
trends with toys and games and stuff that's in and then isn't. So yeah, you have to continually adapt what you do.
I need to let Monty. I'm sorry to run away again, but he's tapping out here. Oh, sorry, Ellen's done it.
Right, let's have a look in the chat. Nick, what's that? Southwest Cellars. Oh, that's Gary, isn't it?
Why are you drinking out of a glass?
Why are you drinking out of a glass? Did you not keep your green coloured prop? Oh, Gary, yeah. Yeah, no, Gary kindly bought us all a beer, and I said, I'm going to keep this as a memento, and then I didn't. Sorry, mate. but cheers. Yeah, cheers for the drink.
Yeah.
Did we
That
say
was
we
an
did...
in-joke. We can't share it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Chris Gotts is in there. Hi, Chris. Chris says, no pickups at all for me today. Stopping buying for a while.
Yeah.
Space issues, Chris? I'd imagine. Chris has epic hauls. Have you seen any of Chris's videos recently?
Yes. Yeah.
He can find some stuff, that man.
I know. He picks up some great stuff.
I know. There's a question. Should we do that quickly? This is SPMCD 2011. How would you choose a sale price on eBay when one seller is selling the same item for £30 and another for 50, but you bought the item for 25?
I would always go for the most it's sold for.
Yeah.
So if somebody has sold something for 50 and somebody else has sold the same thing for 30, I think, oh, well, somebody wanted to pay 50, so I'll try 50.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the question there says, if one seller is selling the item for 30 and one for 50, if they're for sale, that means nothing.
Yeah.
They could be for sale for 1,000 and 5,000. That doesn't mean that's anywhere near the value of the item. So you need to go in and search completed. Yeah. That's where your real information is. Something is only ever worth as much as somebody's prepared to pay for it. And you have to remember that. Just because somebody's trying to get £100 for a calculator doesn't mean they're ever going to achieve that. It doesn't mean you should copy them.
Or that somebody would want to pay that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why, thankfully, with eBay, you can search finished stuff and find out what sells.
But then also don't necessarily go on that either, because I've picked up clothing that I love and I know it's a really high-end thing and it's probably worth over, you know, if you were going to buy it new, over £100, and then completed are like 30, 25, whatever, and I think no, it's worth more. And you know, it's just worth pitching it that little bit higher, because you've got to remember as well, quite often you have a one-off thing. I mean, if the market is flooded with lots and lots of a similar item, then it's different. But if it's something that is a, you know, one-off that might have been in the shops 5 years ago,
yeah,
you know, they're going to be paying for that item. They're not going to be paying for something similar.
I think that's a really good point. If you've got an item that is common, like, you know, like for example with video games, that for example will kind of have a market rate, and there will always be, you know, a load of those available, and it will find its kind of value. Whereas if you've got a vintage item of clothing or something unusual or rare, it's up to you to set your price a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And you're better off going higher and maybe taking offers or coming down over time.
Yeah. Because if it doesn't get many views, or it's sat there for, you know, a couple of months and nobody's buying it, then you've got to just readjust it. But might as well try it.
Definitely.
Shall I ask this
question?
Chris,
can I just say, okay, in answer to that question, Chris Scott says, buy the one for 30 and list them both at 48. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of that on Amazon, that people are buying, like people that are doing FBA are buying up the cheaper items and then
I've heard it
selling
done.
them
Yeah.
FBA.
Yeah, I know people that have done it.
Okay. Right, so we've got a Ring of Roses Simpson asks, Nick, you know the way you get 100 free listings? This may sound silly, but it's 100 free from the first of the month, and you've listed 100 the previous month. So come the first, you read it.
I read this earlier. Basically, they're saying if you get an allowance of 100 listings and you get to the end of that month and you've still got 60 listed, are those 60 taken off your 100 allowance?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't read that very well.
Well, it is quite a complicated question. What you have to bear in mind is if you have let's say you do have an allowance of 100 free listings. If you write a listing and you insert it in that month period, when you are charged for that, that's when it counts. It doesn't matter if it's still active next month. That doesn't come off your next allowance because you listed it the previous month, and you will get another 100 next month.
Okay.
And the month after that. It doesn't matter if you've got X amount still listed. It matters when you insert it.
Okay.
Does that? I think that answers that question.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we've got a question. So I did it. This question came up last time we did a Q&A. Tom Hall says, who wears the trousers in the relationship? Now, has that changed? What did we decide last time?
I think we both wear trousers, don't we?
Right now, we've both got the Levi's on.
I'm not wearing Levi's.
Yours not Levi's?
No, mine are Manta Ray from Debenhams.
Oh, yours are Debenhams. So mine
they
are
are
Levi's.
second-hand ones, by the way.
Who wears the trousers? When it comes to listing clothes and shoes, Andrea wears the trousers. When it comes to listing all the general junk, me.
What about generally? I don't know. I think we're
I was trying to be diplomatic and say something that keeps us both happy.
I think we're fairly even, really. There's no sort of dictatorship in our relationship, is there?
I like to think I wear the trousers, and Andrea likes to know that she does.
Moving on. Alan Wright says, hi Nick, when you relist every 10 days using cells similar, do you bulk sell similar or do you do them all individually?
What I do is I do them in batches of 25, which is how they come up on the page. If you go into your unsolds, they come up in batches of 25, and I find that a manageable amount, and I go into them in 25 at a time and adjust prices if need be, go into listings, have a look, check things, and then do them at 25 at a time.
Yeah, I do a similar thing. It depends. If I've only got a few that I've got to relist and I'm sort of sat in front of the telly with my phone, then I just do it one at a time on my phone. But if I'm in front of the computer and I've got a lot, then I do it in bulk.
Yeah, I think we've got a load we need to do, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Let me see if there's anything in here.
Oh, Caroline's in the chat.
Oh, hi, Caroline. Right, let me find something in here. There's a lot of talk about printers and people deciding what printer they want to use. Or
Darren says Monty wears the trousers, probably.
Can you imagine him in trousers? He's got kind of furry trousers on. He needs to go and he was in for having all of his fur clipped, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's back in again on Friday.
He's going back in. Why did we not get it done last time?
Because she went into hospital unexpectedly.
Oh, the dog grooming
they
lady.
Couldn't get hold of me in time to tell me.
Yeah, she was. Is she all right then?
I think she's got ongoing issues, but that's a different story.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
So yeah, Monty this week will get his fur clipped. We'll have to do a blog post about that. I still haven't done one about his trip to the vet. So behind. There's a question from Barry in here. Question: do you know how much money you have tied up in the unlisted stock behind you? By that I mean the total amount of what you have paid, not what you expect to realize when it's sold. I don't, to be quite frank.
No, we always have a bit of a guess, don't we, when it comes to tax return time.
Yeah, but you don't have to declare that anyway, the way we do it. But anyway, yeah, I don't. It would be a pure guess. Lots. Quick answer.
Okay. There's a question here from Dorothy McDowell, and she says, my question is, can you give me any tips on what I should do or how to haggle at car boot sales? I don't want to offend anyone, but you seem to be really good at getting bargains and always pay, and I always pay whatever they say, as I'm not sure what I should haggle and how much, etc. And do you only pay a certain amount for, e.g., video box sets, games, etc.? In reference to that last part of the question, I think that over time you do get a kind of an idea of how much you would go to on certain items. And you kind of ask, and if it's something way over, you think, okay, you leave it behind. You get an idea of how much, you know what you're going to resell something for, so you know how much you would pay for it.
It all depends what you think that item is worth when you sell it, what you're going to get for it. And then you'll kind of have a kind of margin built into your mind what that's worth buying. But then there's those unknowns where you really are taking a punt on something, you don't know what it's worth, so you just have to try and get it as cheap as you can.
Yeah, I have to say, Dorothy, that I am not very good at haggling either. I don't like all the haggling business, but I'm getting better.
It's just the way you have to look at it is it's just a question. They can say no, and as long as, I think it's all in the tone of voice, it's all about, you know, having a bit of a conversation with them, breaking the ice a bit, you know, pass the time of day while you're looking through, and that makes the whole conversation that much easier. And like I say, it is only a question. Let's say you've got a bundle of clothes on the go, and as you've been going through, you've had a bit of a chat with them, and it comes to £28 the lot. You could throw in a cheeky, seeing as I'm buying this much, would you take 20? And just say it nicely, expecting them to say no and come back at 25. If they do, you've saved yourself a few pounds and they're happy and you're happy. I think a lot of it is in how you approach it and the tone of voice. And I did go out today and I made a few offers on things and they were just like, no. And I said, that's fine, I'm only asking, and just paid what they were asking in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've said this before, there's a thin line between haggling and harassing.
We've had it in reverse. I mean, there's an African lady that we've had a couple of boot sales that we've done recently, where I've been selling off kids' clothes from the shop, and she's two different boot sales, funnily enough, but same woman, and she just starts picking stuff out and then says, you do me a deal, you do me a deal, yes, you do me a deal.
Well, they're hardcore hagglers and it's part of their culture. It really is part of their culture.
It's kind of not the way to do it, because it puts my back up straight away. Yeah, I do her a deal because I want to shift the stuff. But then as soon as you add it all up and you think what the lowest you go to, she starts really pushing it, doesn't she?
Yeah. Well, I think us English people are quite reserved when it comes to haggling. It's not really what we do. But and a lot of countries, though, you go down to the market or even into shops, and the written price means nothing. It's all about the haggle, and that's not part of our culture. So we're not very pro at it. It's not something we've grown up doing, and until you've done it for a while, it can be quite intimidating to do, and being on the receiving end. But
I just think, you know, how would I feel in the way I come across? So I think, you know, how would I be happy if somebody said this to me, and then I know what what I should say, really. So I don't, you know.
I think at a car boot sale, it's totally acceptable. You just need to be polite, and don't push. What I was saying before was there's a thin line between haggling and harassing. If they clearly aren't open to it, stop. Don't press your issue. Either don't pay it if it's too much, or pay it if it's a fair price.
We've seen that so many times, haven't we? We've witnessed that.
People just banging on and banging on and banging on and try and wear someone into the ground until they give in is not acceptable. You shouldn't intimidate someone to get money off. That's just
not at all.
And we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have any more there?
Yeah, let's have a look. This is from Sam Morgan, and she says, or it might be a he, sorry. My question is about, oh no, this is about the taxes, and you said you were going to just answer that simply. My question is about taxes when reselling. The HMRC website is not very helpful. Trying to skim read, sorry. Could you explain what taxes I would be paying? Blah blah blah.
Right. Someone says that they were estimating they were going to make £5,000 reselling, and they wanted to know what tax they would have to pay on that. That totally depends on if that £5,000, if you go full time and it's your only income and you earn £5,000 as your sole income, you will pay nothing on that. We all have an individual tax allowance of, I did write it down because I keep forgetting, £11,500, which you can earn without paying any tax on it. Now, if you're earning £5,000 as kind of a side income in your spare time on top of your wage, you would have to combine the two, and you will pay tax on everything over 11,500. So let's say your salary is 11.5 grand. So that covers your tax allowance. The extra 5,000 you would be taxed on at basic tax, which is 20%. But HMRC, if the website isn't helpful, ring them up. I've spoken to the tax office many, many times on the phone. Yeah. For the most part, they are helpful. I know I did that video where they weren't particularly helpful with the whole accounting issue we have.
That's only because it's confusing.
But that's a very technical issue. For questions like that, you know, pretty basic tax issues, they're trained to give you the answers. That's what they're there for. So, you know, don't ask the likes of us. Go straight to them, I would.
Sorry, I'm just distracted.
Why? What's going on?
I'm not sure if there's a conversation going on in the chat. I'm a little bit distracted by Lisa's comment.
Well, I can't see.
It was a bit odd.
Oh.
I'm not sure if Lisa's account has been hacked or
I don't know.
Or what. Lisa, if you are in the chat and your account has been hacked, just let us know that's not really you, because that is a very strange comment. Anyway, this is Andrea Turner, and she says, oh, by the way, going back, Sam says, can you say hi to Monty for me? I think he's gone back in the other room now, but yes, I will say hi to Monty.
Lisa's just said that my comment was directed at Barry Francis, and I think they were just messing about.
Oh, and then no,
it's the Life of Brian thing. It's the people's.
Oh, is it?
We're not the people's front of Judea. We're the Judean people.
Okay, sorry, I haven't seen the film.
It was a comedy reference.
I looked at it as like a and I misunderstood it. So sorry, sorry about that.
Your Life of Brian reference went right over Andrea's head there.
I'm really sorry. I just looked at it and I thought that's a really strange.
I think Darren deleted it just in case. Anyway, it's gone.
Sorry, Lisa.
That's fine, Lisa. No worries. Yeah.
It just distracted me. I just thought, what is going on?
Yeah. See, Chris said it's Monty Python quote. Talking Life of Brian.
I'm sorry. I must be one of the.
Have you not seen
very few people in the world that hasn't seen that
I'm
film.
picking that up at the boot sale. He's not the Messiah.
I've heard that.
He's a very naughty boy.
know, I've heard that quote, obviously, but I hadn't heard that quote. So.
Yeah, Beaknuke. Oh my God, not seeing the Life of Brian.
I'm sorry. I've seen some Monty Python stuff. I know I've seen the TV series, but I haven't seen that film.
Oh, CYB hasn't seen it either. You're not the only one.
There you go.
Don't
Anne says it went over my head too, Andrea. So thanks.
Don't mention the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
Is that the one that's
that as well?
Is that the one that's got that brilliant scene that's got what did the Romans ever do for us? I'm sure it is. That's one of the funniest scenes. Okay. Oh, apart from the roads. But anyway, yeah, I'll have to show you that film.
All right then. So yeah, sorry about that. Totally misunderstood, but yeah, I'll have to see that film. Anyway, Andrea Turner says.
Oh, Gary's saying, Brian, will you please listen? I'm not the Messiah. Do you understand? Honestly, woman, only the true Messiah denies his divinity. It's a really funny film. It really is.
Oh dear.
But in America, that was banned in America.
I'm trying to read Andrea's.
Go on then, go on. I'll shut up now.
She says, or he says, no.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh my God, this is lack of sleep. This is. Anyway,
You had loads of sleep. I didn't have any.
I didn't have loads of sleep. I didn't go to bed till 4 this morning. I have a question about giving feedback. I'm finding hardly any buyers are leaving feedback at all. I will always leave feedback. And you laugh at the chat.
Yeah.
When I update the listing to shipped. So as larger business sellers, do you find this happens to you too? Yes, it does. But I have to tell you also, I get, as a buyer, I'm so annoyed by people that hassle you for feedback. I really hate that. So I never hassle anybody for feedback. It's their prerogative. If they want to leave us feedback, then great. If they don't, it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. I kind of didn't hear the question. I was reading one of the Monty Python quotes. Biggest dickus.
It's about leaving feedback. Just wondering.
Oh, yes, I did hear.
Yeah.
The thing is, not everybody leaves feedback. I don't know what the percentage is, but you'll find if you sell 100 items, you might get 30 feedback out of it or something. We, on our little packing slips, we have a line at the bottom saying, please take a minute to leave us feedback or something like that. Don't know if that helps. I know some people do message buyers asking them to leave feedback, but we've had people really hassling us, like you said.
Yeah, and I hate it.
And it's just
so I really don't. I don't hassle people for feedback.
Spam. I love the fact that you have no idea what these references are. Have you ever sold a stuffed parrot?
It's 5 to 9, so let's get on.
Okay.
I thought this was an interesting one. Pete Taylor says, how about discussing the way that eBay switches listings on and off and restricting sales? Now this is kind of one of those
it's tin hat conspiracy time.
It's I don't know. I don't know if that's true, if they do that or not. Some people say they do. Some people say they've got proofs. I don't know. But what I do notice is you definitely sell more when you're listing. So not while you're listing, but when you list stuff, your sales come through.
Yeah, but that's just obvious, isn't it? If you don't list, you're not going to sell anything.
No, because, and Stuart pointed this out the other day, that he said, well, I've still got a couple hundred things in my store for people to buy. So why wouldn't they be buying it? Because it's still there. Yes, it is still there. But for some reason, and I don't know what it is, when you add more to your store,
you sell old stuff. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of thought that is if you have activity on your account, somehow that magically promotes your older listings and you sell more stuff. I don't know. I don't really buy into a lot of this. That person who asked that question went on to say they'd experimented with different ways of listing and relisting and stuff, and they'd seen that they think they can manipulate the amount of sales they get by, ending listings and relisting them again and this sort of stuff. I don't know. I don't really buy into the whole eBay switching on and off stores because I can't see how that is going to benefit them. They're a business. They're only going to do stuff that benefits them. For them, sales is their revenue. They only earn when we earn.
Yeah. So, I think it's only obvious that when you first list something or when something's coming to an end, that is going to have more visibility. And after, if you're listing something, it's obviously going to drop down for a while because new listings will come above it. And then as it's coming to an end, you'll come back to the top again.
Yeah.
So I think there's only obvious that's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's just about how eBay is promoting your items in the best match.
I have noticed that sales do drop if you don't list a lot, but as soon as you start listing, the sales start coming through again.
Yeah, it's a huge subject, and there's been a lot of people talking about this. There was for a while there was the whole, your little shop icon is a little door. Sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's red, and there was this whole thing. This is going back a couple of years, where it was like that denoted whether eBay had switched on or off your store. Yeah, and I'm sure that I don't think that panned out as a theory. I don't know.
Does it change though, or was it to do with eBay does some things with blue door people and some things with red door people, or I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never seen our door change
I
colour.
it might be worth, I'll spend an evening watching a load of videos about it and come out with a conclusion, let you know what I really think. But I don't know. I'm not really a sort of conspiracy theory nut. I don't buy most conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I have very little time for a lot of that, but there may well be something in it. But like I said, logically they would only be doing it if it benefited them and their platform, and I can't see how switching off and on stores is going to do that, unless it's a way of spreading sales around people to keep everybody happy. There might be a way that they want to try and do that.
Yeah,
but I don't really see it. Don't know.
You see, I've seen the film with Mr. Creosote. Now that traumatized me as a child. But that isn't Life of Brian, is it?
No,
That
that's Meaning of Life.
Yeah, I've seen that.
One wafer thin mint.
It was the most disgusting thing ever, but very funny.
Yeah, that's nowhere near as good as Life of Brian, that film, in my opinion.
Well, we'll have to watch it at some point then.
And then there's the Jabberwocky. We are the knights that say knee. I haven't seen that since, I don't know, the 80s or something. Yeah, I need to get a Monty Python box set like now.
Yes, no. Straight onto Amazon after this.
Lisa, oh my God, did I unleash a Monty Python beast? Do you all have
Yes.
Monty Pythonitis? We'll just dip in the chat for a while. We had a load more questions.
Yeah, we might have to go back to them. There was another one that was quite interesting, I thought.
Do you want to do that then? It's all right. It's only just gone.
Well, I mean, it's not that they're not all interesting, but I just thought discussion-wise. Anyway, bear with. I'll find
it. Will you take less? Has listed 14 things today and sold 3. Good things come to those who list.
Oh, that's a good t-shirt.
It's really warm in here. I've got a really dry throat.
You run out of drink.
Yeah. Here we go. Theories coming in. Mad Stacks. My theory is eBay switch off shop subscribers and give better visibility to new sellers to encourage them to take out a shop. They know they get their revenue from established sellers already. So switching off shops to build up new sellers and get new sellers more sales. I don't know. Because if let's say they switched off they press a button and 500,000 shops go offline, they'll be losing thousands and thousands of pounds in revenue an hour. Yeah. In lost end of item listing fees. How is that going to help them? I don't know. I get what you're saying in a way, but yeah. Blessed are the cheesemakers. Question: Amazon merchant shipping allocation isn't always enough to cover your actual cost. How would you deal with that? Yeah, it's very true. They have like a set amount in books and a set amount in video games. So if you sell a game as a merchant fulfilled seller, I don't know, you get £1.50 postage credit or whatever. But if that's a limited edition game in a big box and it's going to cost you £5 to sell it, you have to be very aware of that and build the extra amount of postage into your price. But yeah, it's a good point. If you are selling Amazon merchant, be aware that they have kind of fixed set rates for categories. And very often it doesn't cover it. We fell foul of that really super early on, selling a big chunky Harry Potter book on Amazon, right back in like 2001 or whenever. And yeah, we paid to send that to the person. We lost money on that sale because we got whatever it was postage, and the book weighed like God knows how much. Anyway, yeah, so be a good point though. Go on then, what's this last one?
This was the question I thought was quite interesting. Have you ever had a buyer try to get an item you know was in perfect condition and then try and return it as defective, and what happened? Yes, that's happened a few times, and I think it's, I think a lot of people have had that actually. I've certainly had that with clothing, and known that it's been in absolute pristine condition. I've gone over it with a fine tooth comb before I've listed it, and then they claim that there's damage to it or whatever. And you find that a lot of the time they're fishing either for a partial refund, or they just want to send it back because they've had a change of mind, but they want you to pay the postage.
Yeah, I think there's those two distinct categories, as you just mentioned, that we come across a lot. We get a fair amount of people who message us with an issue with the item, and then when we say to them, okay, well, that's odd, because if it's an electrical thing, I say, well, I tested and I checked that very thing you're saying, or whatever. I say that's strange because I did check it, but if that's the case, send it back. And we generally now call their bluff and say, open a return through eBay. And some will, and in some cases we've had stuff back and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, Zahir's mentioned that recently with an expensive amp, and I know Caroline's talked about having clothing back that people have worn and then sent back, and it's now in a worse condition. But I've had it where people have sent things back, and the issue they've said doesn't exist. They've had a change of mind and they didn't want to pay the return postage, because if there's an issue with the item, it's deemed as our fault as the sellers, and we have to cover that return cost. And people know this. If they change their mind, they have to front the return cost. But then the other side of it is people that are just fishing for a partial refund. So they throw out, oh, it's got this slight issue, whatever. What can you do to solve this amicably before I leave you feedback, and all of those sentences. And quite often, if you say, if there's an issue, open a return request, send it back.
And some people can be really, really pushy.
But a lot just go away.
A lot just go away, and some people just throw all their toys out their pram because they want their own way, and can be particularly nasty about it. You just have to stand your ground, really. Just be professional, polite, and stand your ground.
I had one recently. I sent out a tripod, one of these. Actually, I think that's still ongoing, isn't it? And he claimed it didn't arrive. So I said, well, I think I asked him, I normally ask them to give it an extra few days because it might be stuck in the Royal Mail system. I've been sending these by Royal Mail, but I'm now going to do these all Hermes, so they're tracked. What happened in this? And then I said, after a while, I said, okay, what I'll do is I'll just send you out a replacement. And then all of a sudden, he decided he wasn't sure if the spec on this was exactly what he wanted. And he wanted to confirm, was it a smooth swivel head? He's looked at the description. He's not sure it is actually what he wants now. Why would he suddenly say that? I tell you why, because he's got my tripod and he's just trying to get a refund. He doesn't want me to send another one. He wants his money back. So he's now come up with a completely this is in my opinion, completely fabricated reason where he doesn't actually want me to send a replacement, because he's kind of decided the tripod isn't right for him. What a load of
so he just wants a refund.
So we get that, and you have to kind of try and play the game, and you can't always win. But I'm not sure where we're at with that one. I think now he's asking
we've got a separate issue with another tripod, where it was a man in Georgia bought it, and it went on GSP, and all we got was a message from him saying this is defective, it doesn't work. Or he filed a return through eBay. He said this is defective, it doesn't work, I want a refund. So we said, well, we'll send another one out to you. And he said, no, I can't return it, I'm in Georgia. And we said, well, you don't need to return it, keep it. We'll send another one to you, one that does work. And then he just closed the return and went away.
That's the case of where...
Oh, he closed the return, but he left a message saying,
give me my money back.
I can't return it, give me my refund. So we just ignored it.
That was a classic fishing for a refund case, where he realized he ended the case himself and then privately messaged us and asked us for a refund anyway.
Well, he didn't even ask, he just said, give me my refund. We said some words, but not to him.
Yeah, choice words were uttered.
Yes.
So yeah, cool. Okay, well we managed to tackle a few of the questions we got. So thanks for those. We could either do another Q&A in the future and do some more.
Yeah.
But we get loads in the chat anyway when we do these. So.
Well, despite the concert going on, we still have got 203 viewers. So thank you to everybody who's joined us. I'm going to go and watch the concert now. Ellen's watching it.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Ariana Grande fan, I have to say. So.
But there's lots of other acts
but
on.
there are lots of other acts. Take That were great. I saw the beginning of it.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. It's quite humbling that we regularly get up to 200 viewers on these chats. It's fantastic. We really enjoy doing these. Our Sunday thing has become something we quite enjoy now, and we're glad that you guys stick with us and enjoy what we do. Thanks for all the chat. When we go offline, I'm going to read back all of the chat about Monty Python. I see they're talking about parrot sketch and stuff now.
Oh dear.
Would you give a return on a Norwegian blue? His parrot is dead. You've seen that, surely.
I don't know, probably. It's been a while.
The parrot sketch, just in Monty Python.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Monty Python stuff.
It's nailed to the perch. Yeah, I love all of that. Dead parrot.
Oh, Anne says, Nick and Andrea, are you part of eBay's concierge team for sellers? Do you know what that is?
No.
Sorry, I don't know what that is.
No, what's that?
No.
It's not dead. It's pining for the fjords. Ah, dear. Right. Okay. Well, that Q&A got derailed a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine. I'll talk about Monty Python all day long if you like. We do need to get a copy of that and watch it then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try and do that.
Distracted by reading the chat.
He's not dead.
Oh,
it's
Anne
asleep.
says top sellers get invited to it, and it's a great help with dodgy buyers. Oh no! In our 15 years of reselling on eBay, we've never been invited.
I feel sad
so
now.
If somebody from eBay is watching.
I don't think we've ever been involved anyway. It doesn't.
I've never heard of it. So, but it did take us a long time to get a power seller status, didn't it?
Yeah.
I never understood that because we had like thousands of feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. No, he's resting. Anyway, okay. So we will wrap this up there. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
If you enjoy what we do, as ever, please leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the videos. We really appreciate that. Thanks for all your questions. Thanks for leaving the questions on the other video. I know we didn't get around to them all. We may touch on them another time and come back to those. And yeah, we're going to leave you all now. We're going to go and watch the Manchester gig. And yeah, we'll see you on Tuesday. We have a guest lined up to join myself and Zahir. I won't give away who it is. Somebody who's never been on the channel. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Until then, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you soon.
Take care. Bye.
Bye for now.